This first video is going to review how to write the equation of a median for a triangle. So what you need to recall is if I'm writing the equation of a median, I need two things. I need a point and a slope. The point that I'm going to use is going to be one of 2 points. Either the vertex of the triangle that they give me, because it's going to say something like write the equation of the median from A. In that case, the vertex that I'd use would be A. The other option for my point is the midpoint of the opposite side. So if they want the vertex in triangle ABC to use the vertex A, then I could also use the midpoint of the opposite side, segment BC. The second thing I need is a slope. If I have a slope, I can go ahead and write my equation in point-slope form. Remember, point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, so the slope I'm going to use here is, I already have one point, it's the vertex. The other point I need is the midpoint. So I'm going to calculate the slope between my vertex and midpoint. Let's take a look at an example. If we look at this first example here, example 1, it says to find the equation of the median from point C. Okay. Remember, I need a vertex and a midpoint. Well, since it says the median from point C, C is my vertex. So I know that point C is located at -1, 3. That's the vertex I'm using. If I just kind of look at what this triangle would maybe appear to be, if I assume this x is 0, 0, then A would be at 2, 2. There's my A, it's at 2, -2. B would be at -8, +12, so it's going to be all the way up here somewhere. At -8, +12, and C would be at -1, +3. So this is actually going to look very strange. Where my triangle would really look something like this. Okay. Now, if it helps, who cares what it really looks like? My main focus is this. Here's A, I could say here's B, and here's C. I don't care what the triangle looks like, so I'm going to draw it in as a dashed line. That's what my triangle looks like. My major focus here is the median from C. That means I'm going to be looking at this line from C across to the midpoint of AB. That's my focus here. I already am using this point C at -1, 3. I have to find this point. This point is my midpoint. If I call it M, it's the midpoint of segment AB. So I calculate that. Okay. M is going to be the middle of A and B. That's 2 plus -8 over 2 for my x coordinates. And then add your y coordinates. -2 plus 12 over 2. 2 plus -8 is -6. Divide that by 2, I get -3. -2 plus 12 is 10. Divided by 2, I get 5. That's the midpoint here. -3, 5. I have enough to write the majority of this equation now. Okay. And I could choose to use either one of these 2 points. That's what we mean up here for my point. I could use the vertex or the midpoint. I typically use the vertex because that one I know is correct. If I made a mistake in calculating the midpoint, then I'm going to get the equation wrong. So if I use the vertex, I'm going to do y minus my y coordinate, which is 3. So y minus 3. The slope I haven't figured out yet. We'll talk about that in a second. but then it's x minus my x coordinate. So x minus negative 1, but we don't like writing this as minus a negative, so I can rewrite that minus negative is the same as plus 1. Okay. Now, last but not least, I have to find my slope. When I'm dealing with a median, there's nothing in here about perpendicular lines. All a median is telling me is that it starts at a vertex, it goes to a midpoint. Since I have my 2 points, I know that M is at negative 3, 5. This is a situation where I don't care about anything else. I have 2 points that are on my line. I can calculate my slope. So I'm going to calculate my slope by finding my change in x and my change in y. My change in y is 5 minus 3, or 2. My change in x is negative 3 minus negative 1, which is the same as negative 3 plus 1, or negative 2. My slope is 2 over negative 2, which is negative 1. That's the slope I use in my equation. That's it. That's my final answer. I have written my equation in point-slope form. I used my vertex. I found my slope by finding the slope between the vertex and my midpoint.